One of the first Betfair trading strategies I learnt was the over 1.5 goals, because when I started looking up at Betfair strategies, this was labelled as the one that is going to be the easiest for beginners to learn, and it is quite a simple strategy. But today what we're going to be doing is something very different. Now, this is not a tutorial video for the strategy. If you want to do this strategy, please do go watch other tutorials about it, learn more about it before you get into it, and really research the strategy before you give it a go. Today I'm going to be doing something that I know quite a lot of people don't like, but I'm still going to be doing it anyway, and that is I'm going to be applying this strategy just blanket throughout all the games that were taking place on I believe, Champions League night. Now, the reason why people don't like this is because trading shouldn't be like this. Trading, you need to be selective with your games. You need to watch the games live. You need to know what's going on in the market. You should only really be doing one trade at a time, not multiple different games. And that is why I like to do this, because it showcases that point exactly. 9 times out of 10 on all the other strategies I've tried this with, where I've done it on every game, without fail, it's gone bad. And that is the whole purpose of this. It's interesting to see and interesting to learn how you'd react in different scenarios, but overall, it showcases the fact that you should never just blanket apply a strategy to every game you see. You should look, research the games. It doesn't help much, but it helps. And everything you can do that will even help a little bit when it comes to Betfair trading is definitely something you need to try. So, today I'm going to show you through exactly what I did when I applied this to loads of games at the same time. We're going to see how badly it went. Now, this is using clips from videos from a long time ago, so I don't know if my memory is going to be quite up to speed, but it is hopefully still going to be interesting to see what happened when we applied the over 1.5 goal strategy to every single game. Now, if you're completely new to Betfair trading and completely new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button and let me know down in the comments that you're new and looking forward to the videos. But if you are new, the over 1.5 goal strategy is very simple. What you're going to do is around about the half an hour mark in a game, you're going to take the scoreline and add 1.5 to it. So if the game's 0-0, you're going to just look at the over 1.5 goal market. If the game's 1-0, you're going to the over 2.5. Game's 1-1, you're going to the over 3.5, and so on. And what you're going to do is split your stake into 2 chunks of 50%. Now, you can do this a little bit differently if you want, but people majority of the time start off with 50% and then add their stake in either increments throughout the second half or just as one big chunk in the second half. But you're going to start off by adding your stake into the over whatever goal it is market on Betfair and adding in 50% in the 30-minute mark. You're then going to wait till the second half unless a goal comes. If a goal comes at any point, you take the profit and you run. But if it gets to the second half, around about the 50th minute onwards, you can then start adding the rest of your stake into the market as the game goes on. If a goal hasn't come by 70th, 75th minute, you cash out and leave the market with the loss. So what we're going to do is we're going to see exactly what happens when we get that early goal, see how much profit we make, see how much profit we make if a goal comes quite late, and we're going to see how much profit or loss we make when a goal doesn't come at all. So let's get into it. So the first game we have to start off with here is the Juventus-Malmo game, and this is a perfect example of when to add increments to the goal market. So you can see normally you're going at over 1.5 goals, but for this scenario here, there was already been a goal, so we add 1.5 to the current total goals, which gets us to 2.5, so then we got to use the over 2.5 goal market. And you can see here we were going in at odds of 1.51. I believe I was using quite small stakes here. I was using a total of £10 stakes, which means we put in our £5 there, our first 50%, and then that gets placed. So then all you do, once that actually gets placed, I think I might have had to adjust it a little bit, and I did in fact have to adjust there, so you can see our £5 is there in the market, and now we just wait and see if either a goal comes or if we have to wait till the second half to add in the rest of our stake. Now it got to half time here, and as you can see we were £1.30 down at that point, but a goal hadn't yet come, so we were still waiting for a goal, and it got to the half time point. So then we'll rejoin the action in the second half. So you can see it got to even the 53rd minute here, and I was ready to add it in our second stake. Now, the reason you add in your second stake here is because if you were to look at the graph over on Betfair. I wish I had an example to show you. But if you were to look at the graph on Betfair, the whole point of this market is when a goal comes in, the odds are going to drop. Now, because you put your first stake in when the odds were quite low, presumably, because the odds are going to rise as the game goes on without a goal, but when the odds are quite low, thankfully I've actually been able to find a graph here with some football that's going on at the moment, but you can see what happens as the game goes on. The odds go up and up and up, and chances are at the start of the game you're going to be putting in your odds around this mark here, and then if an instant goal comes and the odds drop down, you make your profit. But as the game goes on, if a goal comes around this section here, the odds might not even drop to the point where you put in your initial stake. So if you put your whole £10 stake in, or however much you're going with, if you do that all at the start and a goal doesn't come until quite late on in the game, you won't even hit the profit margin. So that is why you stagger your stake with the over 1.5 goal market. Now, because I was doing quite a few games here, I did decide just to do a blanket 50% at the 30th minute, 50% at the 50th minute. If you're doing this yourself, I would recommend you stake to your second half or second 50% of your amount in gradually over the course of the second half. Maybe do it at the 50th minute, the 55th minute and the 60th minute, just because in the second half odds really do shoot up quite drastically. So, and the later a goal comes as well, the less profit potential you're going to be getting there. So I definitely recommend doing it in a little bit of a smaller chunk as you go on. But you can see here at 2.56 we put in our next £5 stake. Now also, I completely forgot to show you there, I did notice as I was checking through results, we did also do it on the Zenit versus Chelsea game. You can see how early a goal came in that game there. So we did also put that in around about the 30th minute, and then we waited to see if a goal came in the first half of that game. And as you can see here, roughly in the 37th minute, just a few minutes after we'd put our initial £5 stake in, we were able to get ourselves a profit because a goal did come for Zenit in the 37th minute. Now, what you can do if a goal comes this early is you can use your judgment and either stay in the market. I would only recommend this if you're watching the game live and you can see what's going on. But if I'm being completely honest, the only thing I'd recommend you do in this scenario if you want to continue your trade is to make sure you reduce your risk. So you do exactly what I was looking at doing here by laying your initial £5 stake, which would take your complete risk out of the game and leave you with the potential to get a little bit more profit. But the majority of the time, it's not going to be too much of a difference. So what I'd recommend you do in this scenario is just take your profit. Don't try and get extra profit at the risk of losing your profit. So definitely take your profit at this point, which is exactly what we did. We got out for £1.26 in the end after it was confirmed. So just to show you what happened with the Chelsea Zenit game, that's what happens when it goes nice and well. Now this also here shows the downside of splitting your stake 50-50. Because we only had 50% of our stake in this game here, we didn't have the most profit we could get. Because if we'd have put in our whole £10, we would have got double the profit we got there. But it's the risk you take to try and help you get more profit in the majority of games by topping up your stake later on. But for the Chelsea Zenit game, it was very simple and easy to get in and out of that market. If I'd have left it in for another 5-10 minutes, we would have got that third goal and got the over 2.5 secured. But Betfair trading isn't about actually placing a bet, it's about trading the market and trading the reactions, which is what you do when a goal goes in. So you get out, you take your profit, and that is it, simply done. We got to the 72nd minute here in the Juventus Malmo game, and there wasn't another goal. And one thing you've got to do when you do Betfair trading is stick to your exit points resolutely. Don't just think to yourself, oh, I'll give it a few more minutes, I'll give it a few more minutes here, I'll give it a few more minutes there. In a scenario like this, you might want to just keep going, add in another stake just to top it up so you can stay on top of the graph. You might want to keep it going for just another 5 minutes to see how it goes. But that is how it starts to spiral out of control with Betfair trading. If it hasn't happened and a goal hasn't come in a game by the point you said you were going to stay in the trade till, so I said 70th to 75th minute, then you just need to get out and take your loss. You can see obviously here it was quite a big loss, it was £7 to 3 pence. That is because we'd put in our whole stake by this point and there still hadn't been a goal, and for this trade to now come true, we'd need 2 additional goals later on. So even 1 goal later on isn't going to boost our odds or our profit that much. So definitely, if you need to, just take your loss, which is what we did for the Juventus Malmo game. And you can see here we cashed out for a total loss of £7.03. And in the end, this game did finish 1-0. Did finish 1-0 to Juventus. So we were right to cash out at this point. Obviously, if we knew that was going to be the scoreline, we would have not even placed the bet or the trade. But the whole point here is we wouldn't have gained anything by staying in later. So it was the right choice to leave the market. I then went through the next selection of games, and this is where it gets a bit hectic, because this is where I really find it hard to concentrate and realise what's going on. But we went in and we placed our over 2.5 goals on the Red Bull Salzburg. I assume we placed over 1.5 goals on that market. If not, then I really did make a mistake. But we'll have placed over 1.5 on the Red Bull Salzburg. We'll have placed over 3.5 on the Benfica Dinamo Kiev. Over 1.5 on Barca versus Bayern. We'll have placed over 2.5 on Wolfsburg Lille. And we'll have placed over 2.5 on Man United Young Boys as well. So just as you can see there, we did go and change the odds over to be the correct markets, and then we got everything placed nice and easy. Now the first game we head over to then is the Bayern Munich Barcelona game. I didn't show you all the individual odds getting placed because you'll just be able to see over here when we check in on the games and see how it goes, and you'll see the total profit and losses anyway. But we got the Bayern Munich Barcelona game where we managed to get a quick little profit there. It wasn't anything extravagant or anything incredible. It was just a quick profit. It's what happens if you get the goal in the first 3 minutes. Ideally, you want the goal to come the 53rd minute, 3 minutes after you've got your 100% stake in there. But when a goal comes this early, you're going to get minimal profit, but you're going to get profit, and that's all you can hope for. It's better than a loss. So we just quite simply cashed out at this point. We could have left it if we wanted to, because it did come quite quickly, but we chose not to because it's a trade. You stick to the points you're going to leave, and you don't stray from them. If we'd have strayed from it, we would have made double the profit because there was more goals in this game, but I was still happy to get out of the market. Again, if you want to, you can just green up and leave it at no risk, but it's completely up to you. Don't ever, if there's a situation where there is profit available, don't ever allow yourself to have risk still left in that trade. If you want to make it so there is no risk, but you still might end up leaving the trade with nothing, so you just remove all your risk from it, fair enough. If you want to cash out and take your profit, fair enough, but never leave any red in a trade that's green when you've got past the point you were going to leave at. So you can see there in the end, I got out for around about the 75 pence mark. I'll just double check actually over on Betfair. I'm not going to let you see this point because it'll ruin all the rest of it, but we got out for 81 pence profit in the end with that trade. Just skimming through the results here as I'm looking through the video, you can see just looking at the market how quickly and drastically the odds change. Every one of these steps there is a 10-second interval, and you can see there just how much the market changes, how much is matched, everything like that with the games. So it's very important, if you haven't already, go back to last week's video that I uploaded on the Friday and look at the betting scalping video I did, the football scalping, because we really look to take advantage of them moving odds and how quickly they change throughout the game, and it is very minimal low risk strategy as well. So if you want to get into that one, go give that one a look from last week. It's definitely worth a watch. But coming up now, we have an equaliser from Young Boys in the Man United game. So you can see here we're down at a 4 pence loss in around about the 41st minute, and then the goal came in from whoever it was for Young Boys, which got us into the profit instantly. Now you can see it slowly start to climb there. We're going to get a bit more profit this time because we'd allowed the market to sit on our trade for a bit more here. We've gone from the 30th minute to the 41st, so you can see how much that increases our profit. This is a scenario here where I would probably recommend you do the greening up. You allow it to go through because you've given it enough time to accumulate some profit, and you've still got enough time left in the game to get more profit from it later on. So in this scenario here, I would have took out just the £5 worth of liability and left the rest to ride out for the rest of the game. But for the sake of the video, I just cashed out because that's exactly what I needed to do for this scenario. And so I could be able to go back and look at the other games. So we cashed out there for a profit of £1.69. I'm guessing it goes up after we confirm this here as well. It's probably going to go to £1.70-ish, if I'm right. I'm wrong, £1.69. So that's where we finished the Man United Young Boys game. We then had a goal in the Red Bull Salzburg Sevilla game, and this one came at a devastating time. It came 1 minute before we were about to put our next chunk of stake in there, which is devastating because that means we were 1 minute off getting that additional chunk of money put in there to match it with. It also means we were at a fairly nice point though, because we were at the highest point we could be before we could get some profit as well. But we got in there and we got our £1.62 profit. It's going to take a while for me to confirm this one, I think, but it gets confirmed in the end, and it's just a nice little amount of profit. So we'll just wait for this to get confirmed. Say around about £1.49 there worth of profit, all done and dusted. But then we have Wolfsburg Lille, where we put in our next £5 worth of stake over at that odds there. Still only 1-0 over there to Lille. And then I believe we've got another game to go place odds on as well. So let's wait for this one to get confirmed, and it's done. And then, are we going to go place it on another game? Or am I just slowly forgetting how many games we've actually done? Which would make a lot more sense. And here we go. There's the extra £5 placed on that one. I clearly just forgot for a few minutes before going to place that one. So then we've got 2 games left here. Both now have our full stake in. And I've just realised I have a very nice sun pattern on my head. I wondered why my eyes were getting a little bit blinded. But we'll keep going and hope a goal comes in them 2 games. So we got to the 70th minute, and luckily just as we ticked over the 70th minute, we managed to get some profit from the Wolfsburg Lille game. And this is why you can see here that 70th minute onwards is where you just need to be cashing out even if you're at a loss, because we got that second goal, we got the goal we needed, and we had our full £10 stake in there, but we made one of the lowest amounts of profit we've made on all the games. And that is because when a goal comes this late, your profit is tiny. If we'd have given that another 10 minutes even, our profit probably wouldn't have even existed. So that is why it is vital that you do get out when you hit that exit point that you'd already marked up, which is the 70th to 75th minute with over 1.5 goals. Now, I will tell you at the end in just a few minutes whether or not I recommend this strategy, but we'll get into that in just a sec. Clearly this has taken some time to confirm, but we do generate a profit from this game, just a little bit, eventually when it allows us to get it confirmed. Now in that scenario again, because it's that late of a goal and you only then need one more, if you want to, because the profit's only that low anyway, just remove your liability. It might help you out in that sort of game because it has a little bit more potential profit that you could get in the end of it, but that one again is up to you. Just make sure you have no risk left in your games. And then because I'm an idiot, it nearly took me an additional 5 minutes to completely forget. You can see by how quick I cashed out there. This is one of the situations you get when you do it on multiple games. You forget which games you're even doing and which games you've left. So I'd completely forgotten about this game. I rushed back, got my loss confirmed, and you can see there £7.55 loss. So if we just come over here to my Betfair trading history, you can see all the trades we had there. Discount the £9 Sevilla Salzburg. I was doing a 2-up on that one. I think I did generate some profit from it as well, so that was nice. But you can see overall we were in 35p of profit, but that is including the £9.08 from the Red Bull Salzburg Sevilla game that I did the 2-up on. So in general, we were down quite a bit. And I think this strategy, unless you can time the goals perfectly, I really don't like this strategy at all. Because as you can see, the ones what we won the trade with, we got 50p, 81p, £1.70 at most, £1.26 there. But the two that we lost, we both lost around the same, and it was 70% of our stake. And it just doesn't feel right to be losing that huge of a stake that late on. Maybe if there's a way you can readjust when you enter the market and when you leave and things like that, but the amount of goals you do get in games quite late on from the 80th minute onwards, and you're just missing out on all that potential in this trade unless you really want to risk your money, which I don't want to do. So would I recommend this? For beginners, maybe, so they can learn the market and learn how it goes. But also it's quite a hard hitting one, because even with trades like the under 2.5 goal method where you go in from the start. If a goal comes, you don't lose 70% of your stake. And there's methods you can use to reduce that loss as well when a goal does come. But if a goal doesn't come in this over 1.5 strategy, you literally have no movement. You've just got a loss. And I think that one is quite a harsh trade. You either get the goal and get a profit, or you get nothing. And depending on when it is you've put your money in, your profit could be tiny compared to what your loss is going to be. If you time the amount you put in the market perfectly, you might get just the right amount of profit to make this worthwhile. But when you're losing that much compared to winning that much in profit, I just don't think this one is necessarily worth it. But hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you had, please hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're new. If you've got any other strategies you want me to try out by just throwing it at games, please do be sure to let me know in the comments. I enjoy doing these. My bank balance necessarily doesn't, but hopefully I'll see you the next time we do it.